been a gripping split 2 so far here at the Drone Champions League, the World Championship of professional drone racing teams. Welcome to race day 6 with me, Matt Andrews, and we have some brilliant matchups for you today. 3 really close battles expected. It's going to start off with SDT, the Spain drone team, who are in 4th place on our leaderboard. Danube, Silvio, Red Sheep and Clone number 1 desperately want to hang on to 4th as it gets you an advantage in the season finals. Who doesn't have that advantage? Well, the team who are in 5th. China Dragons are there at the moment. Hosu, Gabri Prince, Zapita and Ion. It's very important to pass SDT if they can. In the next matchup, it's our top of the table clash. Cyclone Racing are first at the moment. J-Box, the Ice Cheetah, Neon and Yayu intend to stay there. But their opposition today is the team in 2nd, Raiden Racing, with Vicen Mayan, Valprim, Batu and Yuki. After losing to Cyclone Racing in the Split 1 finals, they want to beat them today. Then Mach 1, our all-female drone racing team of Labeba, Steph, FPV, Natahova and Hologram. They sadly find themselves at the bottom of our leaderboard, but they can move up today with a win over the DCL Wildcard team. Chugakva, West FPV, Super Spyro and Bambi. They too are looking for points to qualify for the Split 2 finals. This shows you how close all 3 of those matchups are. Quad Force 1, they're on a bye week. They can sit back and watch the chaos around them, but they could get caught by SDT. The matches will all have 3 races in. 2 pilots from each team will race each other, then the other 2 from each team, followed by the big heat, where all 8 pilots will race at the same time. And you get 4 points if you win any of those races. Then there's 3 and 2 and 1 point for the pilots behind you. Then we'll add up the scores from those 3 races, and the winning team gets 3 points on that leaderboard, 1 point for a draw. And losing, well, today, that could end your season. Back in 2018, we had a real-life drone race at the Great Wall of China. This is the town that hosted us, Simitai, next to the wall. And we are going to weave our way through our perfect rendering of this beautiful town. There's the Foxeer Gate, and here's the courtyard. You weave your way through here. It'll be interesting to see how quick and direct some pilots can go. Duck under that hurdle, right hand turn through the DCL Gate and the ring, then over the rooftops to the dam. This one's a sort of split S over the top, round and through. This one is through and then round and over the top. They're sort of opposites. This is a corkscrew, 3 gates, go through the 2nd, go through the 3rd, then down the river, round the slalom here, under the beautiful bridge before you go through the left gate and then up and out of the top and then reverse it to come back down the other side. Turn right and start another lap. We've got 3 of them. SDT and China Dragons, let's go racing! Race day 6 will kick off with Danube, Clone number 1, against Ion and Hosu. Let's go on board first with Ion, who is jostling amongst everybody here as we go through the waffle for the first time, and then leads them out through the Foxeer Gate and down towards the courtyard. Good flying from him to get us underway. We've seen Ion have a few sort of mixed races, very quick in some, at the back of others. Danube is alongside him though for SDT. So a good start from Ion, but he hasn't got it all to himself. Clone number 1 down in 3rd. Hosu, the new pilot, just staggering a little bit further behind, down in 4th at the moment. This is Danube for SDT. He appears to have overtaken Ion. Yes, he has, and now he's out of that 4 gates at the end of the lap with no trouble at all, and on to lap number 2. Towards the rooftops, towards the waffle, he's the first in. And you really have to watch how smooth Danube and also Silvio for SDT are with their lines. They just find themselves pulling away from other pilots, and it's just direct flying and smooth flying and great lines and confident tight corners. So keep an eye on how well they fly through this battle. Danube is out onto the river already. Ion follows him, and then Clone number 1 has got Hosu right behind him. Hosu managing to gain on Clone number 1, and there's many years of experience difference between those two. So Hosu putting up a good fight here. We're on to the 3rd lap already with Danube, who's still in the lead and through the waffle, and Ion is lagging behind. I did say how smooth and tight Danube's lines can be. I've seen Ion go a little bit deep, a little bit further past an obstacle than he needed to. Let's see if he can clean that up a bit. This is Ion now on the chase with Danube. Let's see if he overshoots any of these turns over the dam. That's pretty solid on the first one. He's a little bit wide at the top of the 2nd. Now he comes down to the corkscrew and he's a bit deep over the part of that. You'll see how when he went through the 1st gate, he was then turning over the top of the 3rd. Ideally, you want to turn over the top of the 2nd and make it tighter. Still a good flight by him. But Ion is second behind Danube, then Clone number 1 for SDT got third, and Hosu not too far behind at the end. Clone number 1 was just half a second from making that a 7-3 for Spain Drone Team by coming in second, instead of the 6-4 points that it's going to be. So a solid race to get us underway from Danube and Ion. Both of them jostling around the front. Just keep an eye on Danube and how quickly he goes through that. That's brilliant work. Another win for him then, and SDT. Now it's the turn of Silvio and the 8-year-old Red Sheep against Gabri and the 11-year-old Zapita. These boys are not just here to make up numbers, these are real competitors. You watch, and Red Sheep in particular, absolutely fearless. We're on board with Gabri for China Dragons, trying to battle his way through the flights of SDT's Red Sheep and Silvio, who are just pushing ahead of him. Zapita not far behind too. Love it. Look at this. All four of them jostling already. Nobody making any mistakes so far. This is great. And now we go down to the river. Let's ride with Silvio, who's leading everybody towards the end of lap number 1. Watch as he goes under the bridge. He's far over to the right and he turns early. Did you see how he turned before he even went through the gate? He had no visibility of it as he went through, but he was confident in his momentum to get him through the obstacle, and that is how you can save time and go quicker. Yeah, this is strong stuff from Silvio. We're on board now with Red Sheep, his young teammate, who's doing his best to keep up with his really experienced captain. And in fact, the gap between him and Silvio out in front is bigger than the gap between him and Gabri Prince, who's behind him and gaining on him, but has just gone skywards off of the second gate over the dam. Oh, there was a threat looming for Red Sheep, but Gabri's thrown it into the air instead, so now Red Sheep will see down the river. And just going through those 4 gates, he might have noticed where Gabri is, and he's a little bit further behind than he was, just a couple of turns behind Red Sheep. Meanwhile, out in the front, Silvio is charging through the courtyard again. Goes for the second of the hurdles, there he goes, and as he went out of there, he would have seen coming into the courtyard Red Sheep. And now we go back towards the dam. Red Sheep just sees Silvio going through the first and ahead of him out of the second, so pressure's off. He knows Silvio is almost certainly going to win this. What Red Sheep needs to do is make sure he gets the 3 points that come with being second, and he swings through the slalom, and he's going through the 4 as he sees Silvio already in for the win, and Red Sheep will celebrate coming in second behind his teammate.
Good job, Red Sheep. Nice.
It's a 1-2 again for SDT. Silvio cheers on his young teammate Red Sheep, and Gabri and Zapita find themselves on another losing side against Spain Drone Team. Congratulations to Silvio, another win. He's right near the top of our pilot leaderboard for Split 2. It was close between everybody at the beginning, and then Zapita flew alright, but just couldn't keep up with the speed of the others, and Silvio is weaving very nicely, as you saw just there. Can he do it again? Can China Dragons find a way to stop him and the rest of the team in green? It's the first big heat of race day 6, all 8 pilots into the air. Ion was in a really good scrap in the first race, which eventually saw him coming in second, so out of the waffle, let's jump with Ion through this gate and sees Red Sheep in front of him, Silvio in front of him. Oh no, Danube as well. That must be so demoralising. He's flying all of that nicely, and then everybody just goes past. Got to stick with them, and Gabri's trying to. And now we go to the dam, and Red Sheep's gone a little bit too far on the first one. That's a bit slow. Danube has hit the top of the second one and is staying there. It's all going a bit wrong. Now Red Sheep on the corkscrew has hit the last part of that, but he's bounced through. Could have been worse, but Gabri and Ion have both managed to pass him, although he is slipping on the inside of Gabri, and that's Gabri dealt with. Lap number 2. Silvio has no idea all this chaos is happening behind him. He is out in front and looking like the last run he did around here. Down to the courtyard. Nobody in front of him at all. Ion back into second place. Now he's going to go across, and this is about the same place that SDT caught him last time. Oh, and there he goes. There's Red Sheep just catching him again. I think Ion just went a little bit higher, and he did it again on the second gate over the dam. That's how Red Sheep got past, and he's lost a little bit more air between the two of them as well. Silvio through the 4 gates, no problem. Red Sheep done. On to the third lap. Silvio out in first. Red Sheep follows him again, like on the last race, in second. And I've seen there little flashes of other green drones behind him as they dive down towards the courtyard. SDT not in danger here. China Dragons, on the other hand, in danger of taking quite a beating from Spain Drone Team. We're back on board with young Red Sheep. Silvio is doing a great job. Red Sheep is flying that excellently, and he hit this part last time, and no worries for him this time. Yes, Red Sheep, not concerned, not scared of the obstacles. Silvio's in first again. You know it's another 8-year-old second place. There he is. Ion's third, and Danube.
Good job, guys. Nice. Perfect.
Very happy Captain Silvio there, as he should be. Red Sheep with another brilliant run. Seems like one of the very few pilots that can beat Red Sheep are his teammates. This man, Silvio, just in front of him again, showing him the way. It's working really well for SDT. Ion was fighting really well at the beginning, and there you go, just 1, 2, oh, 3 of them have passed you as well. How did they do it? Here's Danube hitting the top of the second gate and going from first to last. And then Red Sheep, that's where he hit the corkscrew, but he shook it off and got on with it and didn't have any problems from that point onwards. That's really admirable. Ion there trying to chase him down, but just couldn't quite catch him. Great work from SDT, Ion doing his best, but not enough by himself. Spain Drone Team beat out China Dragons, 21 points to 9. Now, talking of pilots who can seemingly only be beaten by their own teammates, it's our top of the table clash between Cyclone and Raiden, with the Ice Cheetah and Yayu against Vicen and Batu. Now, Yayu is leading our pilot leaderboard at the moment. He's got 8 wins in 10 races. The only pilot who's beat him at all is his teammate J-Box in 2 of them. And funnily enough, those are the only 2 races that J-Box has won. Not quite sure how those have come together. This is Yayu. And everybody else already seeing a bit of a gap, including Vicen Mach from Raiden, who is one of the most experienced and deadly, confident and just fastest pilots we have. And yet this split, Yayu is just staying ahead. He goes on to the second lap, but Vicen Mach is not far behind him, of course. Now to the waffle. There's Yayu and there's Vicen as well. And Vicen is gaining on him. Here we go. Now through the fox here to the courtyard. We're on board with Vicen Mach. Brilliant pilot for Raiden. Many times he's scared pilots in the last milliseconds of a race by stealing points from them that they thought they had. Oh, he didn't leave himself much room to spare there. He's really aggressively attacking this, and watch them both hug the corkscrew. That's how you fly it quickly. Look how tight those were. This is Vicen now, chasing Yayu with everything he's got with 1 lap to go. Yayu over to the rooftops. Vicen with him too. How well can you thread this waffle? It's beautifully done by both of them. These are 2 of the very best here. Yayu to the courtyard. Vicen right on his tail. Underneath the hurdle. Yayu doesn't even see him because Vicen is so close. Now we go back towards the dam, over the top, and no, there's the break. Vicen Mach hits the top of the first turn. He's done gates like that so many times, but just so desperately trying to do it tightly. He was close to it on the previous lap. He's just skimmed the top of it, and that's given Yayu the win in front of him. The Ice Cheetah's going to hang on for 3rd from Cyclone, and then Batu will come around in 4th. Less than 2 seconds between Yayu and Vicen Mach at the end, and it was less than that throughout all of the race until that just 1 bounce at the top of the first gate on the dam. Let's see it again. On the first lap, Vicen Mach was through with everybody else, no problems. On the second one, he was only just through it. But then on the 3rd time, he goes over the top, bounces off of that. And in fact, that lost him a little bit of time, and he was all rocky after that as well. Neon and J-Box will now step up against Valprim and Yuki. I told you Yayu was number 1 on our pilot leaderboard. Well, Valprim, he's number 2. And again, a pilot who's only been beaten by his own teammates. 5 wins out of 8 for him. He'd like to get some more, and you'd be crazy to bet against him. This is Yuki, his teammate, who we're riding with down towards the courtyard. It's Valprim who leads us all into here. Neon's right with him too. There you go. Neon just sees Valprim just edging in front of him. It's going to come down to these tight turns, and Neon's doing his best, but he's a little bit shaky. Watch the adjustments there. That's not what I would have expected from Neon and how good he is. Just a little bit of correction down the river, but he's still in the lead. And now through the 4 gates, and he'll take that lead onto the start of lap number 2. Neon for Cyclone. J-Box just about 2nd as well, but Valprim giving him a lot to think about. And Yuki, of course, he's here too. J-Box now with Raiden in front of him and just behind him and all around him. And he follows his teammate Neon and keeps his focus. He's hanging on to 2nd place at the moment. We'll go for now to the dam. Looks like Raiden just lost a little bit of time on the pair from Cyclone there. Neon out in front. J-Box again, down the river. Just manages to squeeze past Valprim and then sees Yuki flying directly at him as he doubles back through the 4 gates. 1 more lap to go. Into the waffle. And there's only 3 of them. Valprim has lost a lot of time. He slipped far behind in his terms. So we'll go through the courtyard. Neon ahead of J-Box, who's here. Now they've got just a little bit more space, but nothing to get comfortable with. Is it all going to come undone for Raiden Racing? I said nobody's beaten Valprim, but his teammates. Well, Neon is there, J-Box is there, Valprim is heading down in third at the moment. And Yuki is in a real mess at the back, and the win goes to Neon, and J-Box and Valprim are right with him too, and Yuki has missed the finish. Oh, we had a race like that recently where a pilot was swinging the wrong way towards the finish gate and didn't go in. Yuki there bounced off, but he was already down in last place. Neon was far ahead of him with his teammate J-Box in first and second, and only 0.3 of a second between those two pilots. All credit to Yuki at the start. He had a lot to concentrate on and he kept his focus really well. Valprim was flying well too. He did make a couple of mistakes. He was a little bit wide on a turn just then. Somehow found himself quite far behind at the start of lap 3, but not too far behind at the end. Now Raiden needs to get a lot of points out of this big heat from their 4 pilots. And as we go towards the dam, Batu has gone through the gate when you're meant to go over it. You have to go over it first and then through. That's put Batu far behind at the back. They just got a little bit confused about the gate in all the anticipation of all the battling coming up. Neon leads them all on to the start of lap number 2. Valprim sticking with him though. Vicen Mayan, of course, never count him out. Yayu's in there too. Raiden needs to get first, second, and then third or fourth or both. They need 8 points or more out of this. They need a third pilot. They can't just leave it with Valprim and Vicen Mayan to scrap their way to first and second, particularly not when Valprim hits the gate and goes to the sky. Oh, time for your pilots to turn up, Raiden. Vicen Mayan has got in front of both of the Cyclone pilots. This is Neon chasing him now onto the start of lap number 3. He can definitely handle the pressure. No problems through the waffle. Now going to the Foxer gate. Vicen Mayan's hit it! Oh, and it's ruined his line afterwards. He missed the pole. He had to go back and go around it. Oh, this is getting away. Look at that now. 1, 2, 3. J-Box and Neon and Yayu and nobody challenging them anymore. Cyclone are going to run off with this one. My gosh, that was tight to the corkscrew. J-Box and Yayu. Neon's actually managed to lose some time. Vicen Mayan might pick him off, but it's a 1-2 nevertheless. Who's going to get third? Oh! I told you Vicen Mayan, our best finisher, scares pilots by taking points for them in the blink of an eye. 9 thousandths of a second between Neon in fourth and Vicen Mayan, who poached it from him in third. But not enough, as in front of them, Yayu and J-Box. Let's remind ourselves that Cyclone were a brand new team entering the DCL in 2023, and Raiden were the world champions in 2021 and 2022. This is another big win for Cyclone that they can be proud of, and in those 3 races they had 3 different pilots win them. They have strength across the board, and they've secured the number 1 seed for the Split 2 finals. Now let's find out who's going to be the last team to join the Split 2 finals. Mach 1 against Wildcard team, Lebebra and Hologram against West and Chugakva. It's been a difficult Split 2 for both of these teams. A few different roster changes for Mach 1, whereas the DCL Wildcard team have stuck with the same 4 pilots throughout so far. We're on board with Chugakva, who sees his teammate West just ahead of him, and the 2 pilots from Mach 1 coming across the courtyard, and everybody flying at different angles to each other. Now West leads out Chugakva. Chugakva used to fly for Haven Airborne, the Norwegian team. They disbanded at the end of last season, and Chugakva finds himself on the DCL Wildcard team, which is our chance for pilots to show what they can do and get a chance to be picked up by one of the professional teams. Not only that though, but this Wildcard team are the only Wildcard team we've ever had to make it to an end of split or season finals. They were 6th on the leaderboard at the end of Split 1, which meant they got to join us at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. They're looking to grab 6th this season, but Chugakva hitting the first of the gates over the dam would normally be more of a problem, but unfortunately Mach 1 are not close to challenging him for the 3 points that he seems to have a hand on. West is flying extremely well here though, out onto the 3rd lap. No problems, no drama, no mistakes. West putting in a really professional performance again, as we saw him do earlier on in Split 2 as well. Here he is, down to the courtyard. Chugakva, his teammates, just coming in as well. West still just ahead of him, as he has been throughout the whole race. Yes, really solid flying from West. Chogakva no problem over the dam this time. Down through the corkscrew. Both of them going a little bit deeper on the entrance and the exit of the first gate, but not too bad for the second and third afterwards. And now West is going just to sew that up. That's his first win in Split 2, and in fact the first outright race win for the Wildcard team in Split 2. Chogakva in second, and West time of 1:47.315. That is quicker than all of China Dragons, and in fact quicker than the slowest pilot for SDT, Raiden, or even Cyclone. So West really showing he's got what it takes and making a name for himself. In fact, that's exactly what the DCL Wildcard team is for. Chogakva, of course, flying very well there too and securing second place. So, a 7 points to 3 lead for the Wildcard team. Now Steph and Natahova will take on Super Spyro and Bambi. Expecting a bit of a closer battle here with Steph and Natahova for Mach 1 against Super Spyro and Bambi. Through the waffle we go. Oh, Super Spyro just getting caught on the last part of it, which sees his teammate in front of him. And Steph is hovering all around trying to take advantage as well. Steph following the two pilots, hits the roof! Oh, on her way back across the courtyard, as you go up to then go under the hurdle, she hit one of the roofs. Maybe a little indecision about which way to head towards the hurdle. Super Spyro's off the corkscrew and into the river. That's given Steph a big chance to catch up with him. She was just one turn on the corkscrew behind. Natahova, her teammate, just a little bit further behind there. Now we go on to the next lap. Bambi leading the way. He overshoots the waffle a little. That's the sort of turn where you can lose a few tenths of a second here and there, and eventually a team will make that cost you. Super Spyro in second place here, heading down into the courtyard. Bambi exits underneath him. A little bit of formation flying. Now Bambi to the dam all by himself. Bambi hadn't won any races in Split 1, and he hasn't won any in Split 2 so far, so this is a chance for him to finally pick up his first big win in the DCL. Super Spyro, his teammate, is the one who's closest to him, but there's still a lot of time between the two of them. Both of them for the Wildcard team, and on to lap number 3. Watch the waffle. Bambi goes deep in it again, and like I said, that's where you could lose some time, and again, one of the other turns a little bit tighter after it, and Super Spyro is just trying to reel him in. Yes, they're on the same team, but everybody wants to show what they can do, and no racer likes being beaten by their teammate. Not really. So Bambi to the dam, still with plenty of space, but not as much as he had, and Super Spyro is coming for him. You can see it. They're getting closer now. It's got to be really good around the corkscrew. Bambi was the best I've seen him there, but Super Spyro was really good too, and they are side by side into the final 4 gates, and out of that to the finish, it is Super Spyro just ahead of Bambi. Steph going the long way round, but will finish it off in 3rd, and then Natahova comes in 4th. Super Spyro got that win by just a quarter of a second, despite having 2 crashes along the way. He's got his first win in Split 2. First of his crashes was here very early in the race, just trying to turn too tightly out of there. Bambi ahead of him at this time, as he was for some of the race, but not the important scoring bit at the end. Still, they're on the same team, and both of them flew races that I think they can be pleased with there. Definitely improving. This is what a quarter of a second looks like. Now Mach 1 need 1st and 2nd and 3rd place here. That would get them 9 points. That would put them in a position to tie this with the Wildcard team. Bambi here sees a few of his teammates in front. Steph is really close to him for Mach 1. But yeah, there's all the rest of the Wildcard teams and Steph in front of Bambi. And Bambi's just rocking and rolling a little bit there. It's not quite too smooth. Chogakva here exiting the courtyard. He's got the lead, actually. Super Spyro and West just tucked in behind him. Bambi still in 4th. West just losing a little bit of ground on his teammates. Super Spyro in 2nd. Sees red drones behind and in front and above. When you go around obstacles like that corkscrew, you've got to really focus and not get put off by what else you see going on around you. Even harder in real life, of course. Now for the waffle. Super Spyro trying to beat Chogakva on every one of those turns, doing them a bit tighter, but he hits the roof after the Foxeer gate, and he's missed the pole like Visem Mayan did earlier on today. Oh, he is nowhere near Chogakva, who's out in front. Look, no sign of him at all, but Chogakva now with the first turn, he's hit the top of the first gate over the dam, and he's clipped it again on the exit as well. He managed to hit it twice. He's going to be so relieved that the drones who've passed him are red. Oh, and this is him into the corkscrew. Oh, Chugagva get it together as he now turns early, goes through the 4 frames, and he's just caught on the last part of that too. West has nobody near him. Why? Because Super Spyro and Bambi are a little bit further behind, and Chugagva hit 4 things before he could finish lap number 2 and has dropped some way behind his teammates. But it is looking safe for the team in red. West, as we know, really quick, as I said earlier, one of the best times we've had around this course. And now he's in the front, and Super Spyro is in second. And there are more of the wildcard team following them too. Steph is not too far behind. La Beba closer than she's been as well, but they're going to be outside the points because West has got 4. Super Spyro's got 3. Chugagva is going to get past Bambi for 2, who's then going to bring in Bambi for the last one. And it will be Steph who leads the way for the Mach 1 team. But that's not enough, as all the points go to the wildcard team in a 10-0 sweep of the big heat. And West gets a second win for Split 2 in as many races. So quite a bit of drama in that race, but mostly from the wildcard team losing places to each other and then fighting to try and get them back again. You see lap 1 was a bit crazy. Lap number 2, out of the waterfall, Super Spyro goes through the Foxear gate and then hits the roof on the right. That means he misses the pole, goes to the left of it instead of the right, so he has to go back and find his way around. And after Chugagva had all those crashes on the second lap, most of them didn't send him off course, which is why he was basically able to maintain his position. A win for the DCL wildcard team. Congratulations to them, some of the pilots getting their first outright race wins too. Commiserations to the Mach 1 all-female drone racing team as they're on the wrong side of a heavy loss there. In fact, all 3 of these matches were further apart than we would have predicted. And what does that mean for our leaderboard? Well, Cyclone are now complete. They're on a bye week for race day 7. They have 6 wins out of 6. In fact, they won 17 of their 18 races. Raiden have just suffered their first loss, and SDT are catching Raiden. On the last race day before the Split 2 finals, SDT against Quad Force 1 is very exciting as the winner will get the 3rd place seed and an easier run in those finals. I'm Matt Andrews, thanks for watching the DCL, we'll see you in the skies!